In this video, I share with you 5 places where to sell your luxury items. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Paula, and in today's video, let's talk about selling our luxury items. Mentally, I am now in a place where I feel like I want to clean up my possessions. I want to really consider if I'm using everything, if I'm still like getting the excitement of everything, and if the answer is no, then going through the process of letting them go, selling them onwards, and hopefully that they will bring happiness to someone else. I am definitely a person who gets the joy of my stuff by wearing them. So if I'm not reaching out for them, and if there has been a long time when I haven't really done so, I start to consider if it's time to let those pieces go. I'm a firm believer of buying pre-owned. That also means that I am happy to sell them onwards. And in this video, I go through with you 5 different platforms and places that I personally have used before, where it's possible to sell these items, but then also platforms that I'm planning on using moving forward, because I don't really know if I can recommend all of them with like 100% certainty. But anywho, I thought I would share those platforms with you in case you are thinking of doing the same as I am, or also wondering where to buy pre-owned. So that might also work the other way. Let's go. Firstly, I want to talk about Vestiaire Collective. Now, starting it off by, I'm not sure if I'm personally planning on selling on that platform anymore, but I can't really ignore it because I have been a very active seller on Vestiaire Collective. Personally, I haven't had ever any issues with either selling or buying. I have made some videos of that platform and of maybe some questionable experiences of others that has also turned me a bit against the platform. But as mentioned, I can't really ignore the fact that it brings a wide audience for luxury pieces all around the world. And I live in Europe, I'm from Finland, and just kind of selling on that platform is relatively easy. You can just like list your items, take photos, and then hope that someone gets interested. And as mentioned, the audience is quite big with Vestiaire, so the chances of finding a buyer is quite good. You have the control on the pricing of the item, meaning that it's transparent on what you're gonna earn at every step of the way. So putting the price on a level works. The buyers can ask you questions if they want to. You can upload more photos later, etc. So kind of easy platform of doing business. Because of those maybe questionable experiences of others, if I would ever sell on that platform, I would definitely make sure that when someone has purchased the item, that I would film the whole process of me packing the sold item, like what I include in the box, filming me closing the box, and then filming the process of me actually handing it over, if it is a courier or if I drop it off at some place, kind of filming that process and at what condition the parcel left. Because part of the questionable parts come from when someone opens that parcel. May it be Vestiaire's own personnel or then the buyer itself if they have chosen the direct shipping. So that is like a security for you as a seller to film at what condition and what was included when you shipped it off. So yeah, just as a tip. And I feel like for the more expensive stuff, I probably would not use Vestiaire anymore for selling. But if I have some contemporary items, it might still be a platform of choice for myself. Let's see. But I also feel that there is a big risk for myself if I would be selling on that platform. But I still wanted to mention it here because it is a huge platform. And as mentioned in the beginning, I've never had bad experiences either as a seller or as a buyer. So from my personal perspective, it should be fine. Based on everyone else's experiences, I'm a bit hesitant. Second option, which is probably the one that is most appealing to me. And I have sold one bag through this way, and it is through a luxury boutique called a Retro Tail that specializes in vintage luxury bags, but also all luxury pieces. They are based in Sweden, so I think this is a tip maybe for especially people in Europe. I don't know how it would work outside of Europe, or let's say outside of European Union. But for me, it basically worked in a way. I took photos of the bag I wanted to sell to them. I sent them over. They responded within, I think, 1 day with a quote of what would be the price that they would directly buy it from me after an inspection of that bag. And if in that inspection something came up that wasn't visible in the photos or the description I would give them, then they might give me a new price estimate. And then I could decide if I want to accept it or not. If I would not accept the lower offering, they would ship it back to me. And all of these shippings would be free of cost for me. So a Retro Tail kind of took care of all the postages, I guess. And this was a very quick process. So I took photos, wrote a description. In 1 day, I got a quote of what they would pay me if after the inspection everything turned out great. I accepted that quotation with the limit that once I ship it over, they would inspect it. If they wouldn't want to pay that amount for me, they would give me a new quote, and then I could accept or not. I did accept it, so they did not ship it back to me, but they would have done it on their charge, not mine. And then I think 2 days later, the money was on my bank account. So this is definitely for a very quick and smooth process, because I don't have to wait for the item to be sold. And of course, the downside of this is that you probably could make a bit more money if you would sell it yourself or on some other platform. But I have to say that for me as a busy person, that was hassle-free, simple, and the money was on my bank account maybe like a week since I first contacted them. So this was a very quick process, very easy one for myself. And I am definitely very intrigued of doing that again. So utilizing their platform, especially if I want to know what they would be offering for me of that item. Now, I sold to them my Dior 30 Montaigne bag. So yes, that has now left my collection. And I did buy that pre-owned originally. And I think they offered me maybe 200 euros less than what I paid for it. So there is just maybe something to consider, that it might be difficult if you're aiming for a certain price to get exactly that. Personally, for the time saving and effort saving, I took that chance and got a bit less than money than what I originally paid for. For everyone, that might not be the case. But if you are into, I don't know, easy way, I would check that out next time when you are selling. Thirdly, if you have some local luxury boutiques that you can contact and ask if they want to purchase an item from you to sell. So there is one store in the city where I live, what I have also utilized is that I can send them photos. They send me an original quote, and then I basically go with that bag, let's say, to the boutique. They inspect it then and there, and then they say yes, okay, and pay to me right on that spot on my bank account, so it might be visible on that day or the next day or something. This is probably the fastest way of doing business, and you don't have to wait for the item to be sold either. And this I think is kind of a hit and miss, especially for my location. I live in Finland, and this is not maybe the best place to to kind of live in the luxury world, because there is not that much of people interested in this stuff as there are maybe in other places. So sometimes the offer on that local store might be good, sometimes not, depending on if they think that there are enough customers for that or not. So kind of the same idea as with the retro tail, but this is more like a local thing. So that might also be a lot easier than actually shipping the item somewhere if you feel that there would be a risk of when you are sending it over somewhere, that if there is like a local store for yourself where you can just bring them there, and then they might also give you the money on that spot. And I have utilized the local store. I usually always send them the photos and ask for what they would pay, and then I make a decision on if I want to do it or not. But it's good to have an option, and I guess like easy way of getting getting money. Now, next, moving on to two options that are more maybe based on your own selling efforts. So fourth would be local Facebook groups. At least for me, I've had a good luck in selling in my like local neighborhood Facebook group, meaning that it's very easy to do interactions with people who live in the same area. And then there are Facebook groups that are focused on luxury pieces. And in those cases, the person might live in the neighborhood or they might not, and you would need to ship it. This, at least personally, I feel like demand a bit more effort. At least people might be more actively asking questions, asking more photos, and then there is the hassle of actually planning the sales interaction if you need to meet that person, kind of setting that up and all of it. But I think this is the best way to make the most money, because obviously there wouldn't be any third party in between who would of course take their cut, because that's their business. So this is the way to maybe get the most out of your piece. And then the fifth suggestion would be different apps. Let's say Vinted or some other pre-owned apps where people can sell and buy pre-owned items. They might not be luxury focused. There can be just like clothes and whatever non-branded stuff, but that's also a way to get your stuff moving around. And with app, the buyer can be wherever, and it might also be a very easy way, because usually these apps then help with the shipping, so they might even provide you with some kind of shipping code that you can just then drop it off somewhere. So maybe a bit easier than doing the wholesaling by yourself, where you need to figure out their address if you're shipping it and all of that. Those apps might take a cut from your sell or not, depending on the app. And personally, I haven't yet sold any luxury pieces on those type of like apps that you can buy pre-owned things, but I know so many who have had many good experiences with that, and it might also be very easy to move them on. And I think at least Vinted, which again, we are very Europe focused, I'm sorry for that, but with Vinted, I'm able to do interactions with people outside of my home country. So yet again, the audience is bigger. Where do you like to sell your luxury items, if you would be to sell? Have you had good experiences and maybe not so good experiences? Let's share the tips in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.